Today we probably have one of the most fun and fastest farm builds for the Necromancer. And I am sure you are not seeing this build around that much. In this one we are not using our regular summon skills, but it's way faster than those builds. And in my opinion, way more fun. Before wasting any more time, let's start talking about the build so you can try it for yourself. But before that, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. First, I want to start with the skills we are using. We have Corpse Explosion, and this is one of the main damage sources of the build. We have 3 different essences that affect this skill. Shoulder's essence makes the skill work against feared enemies as well. So basically it explodes the fear of the targeted enemies. Plus if there are corpses around, they explode, and both of those deal separate damages. So damage output from this skill is really powerful. Other than shoulders, we have chest essence that increases the radius of the skill, and we are using the main hand essence to increase the damage of the skill by 19%. Next we have common skeletons, and you can explode them whenever you need corpses to use your explosion skill thanks to the head essence, so they are really handy. Other than that, we have an offhand that decreases the time required to raise new skeletal champions. Next we have Grimsight. We are using this as a damage skill with the main ant essence, the one with the cooler faster animation. Plus with this essence it leaves bleed animation on the targets. This essence is not really necessary, but I think it's fun to use it. Our last skill is Wraith Form, and we are using the recently buffed teleport version of it. Its cooldown was reduced to 6 seconds from 9 seconds and charges increased by 1. Plus now you don't have to target an enemy, you can just use it like wizard teleport. Plus they increase the animation speed a little bit. Of course these are all happening thanks to the pants essence we are using. This essence leaves a fear on nearby enemies as well, so we can trigger our corpulence skill right after our teleport even without any corpses. This essence leaves a fear on nearby enemies as well, so we can trigger our corpse explosion right after our teleport even without any corpses around. That's why this is the key skill and essence of this build. Finally, we are using Soulfire as our primary attack, and we are using an offhand essence with it. Now let's take a look at the set items, and after that we will check out the legendary item essences. For the set items we are using 4 pieces of Shepherd, and the reason is to get some extra critical hit chance buff. And since all necromancers have these set items for dungeons, you don't really have to farm anything else. You might try out other set items with this build, but I am fine with 4 pieces of Shepherd. For the other 2 you can use Izatar or any other 2 you want, but I would pick something with movement speed buff. As you can see, I have 2 pieces of Windloaf because I don't have any Izatars right now. Now it's time to check out the legendary item essences. For the headpiece we are using Coals for Eyes. Common Skeletons now causes your skeletal champions to explode at their destination, damaging all nearby enemies, which creates an extra corpse on the floor, so it's always great to have it with this build. For the chest we are using this one, Corpse Explosion damage reduce increased by 29%. And this shoulder essence is really important for this build. Corpse Explosion now also detonates the fear of targeted enemies, dealing damage to all nearby enemies. And for the pants we have the Teleport Wraith Form. Wraith Form now quickly transports you to your target. Upon arrival you deal damage and fear all nearby enemies. As you can understand, pants and shoulders works together in this build. For the pants we have Cloth Burst. Corpse Explosion damage increased by 19%. For the offhand we have a Soulfire essence. Soulfire now has 25% chance to explode on hit, dealing damage to nearby enemies and causing them to burn. And for the additional main hand I am using Gravecutter. Grimsight now slices enemies in front of you several times, with the final swing inflicting a bleed. Instead of Gravecutter you can use Pierce Hammer or Stroke of Midnight as well, but I just really enjoy the animation of Gravecutter. And lastly, for the additional offhand I have the Prong. Decreases time required to raise new skeletal champions by 57%. Other than that I am using Treasure Hunter or Massacre for open world farm. Usually Treasure Hunter is better, because you get a little bit of extra materials with it. But if you feel slow in your farm party, you can switch your Paragon to Massacre for the speed buff it gives. For the point distribution, you can max out your damage, armor pen and potency first, then you can spend your points on life or armor. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, and don't forget to leave a like. Now I will add some gameplay with this build so you can see it in action.